Good morning, everyone. I'm so glad to see you here this morning. And if you don't know who I am, let me introduce myself. I'm Sheila Gearhart, and I'm a technology integration specialist here with Calvert County Public Schools. And I'm joined today with members of my team and co-facilitators, Chris Guthrie and Jeanette Johnfrido. And today's session, we are going to be focusing on how you can support your students' learning with blended learning models. And we're very excited about this session with you today. And we really hope that you learn some good strategies and best practices that you can take away with you and begin implementing with your students when you return back to your classrooms. In today's session, we are going to be using a digital tool called Lumio. Some of you may be familiar with it. It was previously called Smart Learning Suites, but now it has been renamed Lumio, and it still has all those great features of Smart Learning Suites and even more. And it's going to be a great tool we want to use to model this presentation for you, because you may want to use it with your students, because it's a great way to get students engaged. We did want to introduce this tool to you if you haven't used it before. For today's session, to get you connected with Lumio, what we're going to need you to do, go to a new tab in your browser, and you are going to type in hellosmart.com. I want you to think, how are you currently using technology in your classroom today? All right, so let's see, we have a lot of things popping up here of how people are using technology with their classroom, in their classroom now. So let's see some of the things people have highlighted. In our session today, we want to know today is, how do blended learning models enhance and improve student learning? Our goals for today's session are, first, we want you to develop an understanding of what blended learning is. We're going to go over a good definition of that so you feel comfortable with that. We're going to learn how you can actually begin planning for blended learning in your classroom, planning an actual lesson. And we want you to be able to add to your understanding of different blended learning models. So what is blended learning? As we're looking at blended learning, we know we are using technology in our classrooms. So let's go over the difference between a tech-rich instruction classroom and a blended learning classroom. What we'd like you to try now is this fun game. This is a sort, and it's a rock and roll themed sort. If you need a little repeat in the instructions, up here in the top right corner, we've recorded the instructions for you. And that's something, again, you could do with your students, especially if you have struggling readers or young littles who need to hear the instructions. You can put your instructions on there. Makes it a little more personal, too. We're going to share a video about what blended learning is. Now we've had a chance to really understand what blended learning is and what it's not. I want you to think about, and I want to do a little check-in with you of where you think you are. Now we're going to get into a part of our session where we're kind of going to move away from the online piece here with our direct instruction and get rid of the whole group, so to speak, and we're going to break up into some smaller learning communities. So let me tell you how this is going to go. Okay, now that we've gotten through all of our rotations and had some good times talking about that and some good learning, we're going to do some reflection. And here, what we're going to do is I'm going to give you about 5 minutes, and I'd really like you to reflect on your own blended learning experiences using this graphic organizer that we have. So we can see as people are finishing, and remember, just click the little button done at the top right corner. Those of you with your check marks, we know that you've turned yours in. And those who haven't yet, we're still waiting on you. Hopefully you can finish your thoughts so we can get those in. We hope you've gotten a lot out of this session today and can take some things back and implement in your classroom using blended learning. And don't forget, you can reach out to myself or any of your learning specialists that you have at your school, and all of us would be happy to work with you to start planning for blended learning and make that a part of your routine. So thanks again for everything. I hope you have a fantastic week and find some things here you can use with your students.